All right, so this next person, and we got some Zoomies. You better care about your Zoomies. Jim Bergen, he's on it, man. All right, so this next person, I had to get a little bit of information because she is awesome, and I want to make sure I nail it right. So she's the owner of Speakers Need to Speak, Encore Elite Events, and co-founder of Icon Maker and Podcast Magazine. Holy cow. That just sounds like I'm nervous just talking about it, right? She's a best-selling author, international speaker, visibility strategist, and event producer. Ooh, all right. And then she's a wife, mom, client, cheerleader, and a professional chef. I'm almost in love just by reading this, right? So what I also have noticed about her is she's very, very observant, and her presence is felt when she walks around the room, and the way she engages with people, I immediately see people attract to her with a sense of calm. And not a lot of people can do that. Most people can walk up and be like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. But when someone walks up to her, they walk up and that literally like time slows down. And the only person she's paying attention to in the entire universe is this person. And I've watched this over the weekend, and she's communicated not only with me, but with the other people in this room. And Zoomies, you're about to feel that energy. So, ladies and gentlemen in the room, ladies and gentlemen on Zoomies, let's give a warm welcome for Dannella.
So I know those here in the room know the power of stepping up to the stage because you're doing that while you're here. But this is for you guys who are out there in the world. In Zoom world, I see too many names and not enough faces. You are not visible. If you're looking to grow a business, come on camera. If you'd like to stay where you're at, go ahead and leave your name up there. What I'm about to share is not for you. But if I'm speaking to you, if you would like to grow your business, if you'd like more influence, more impact, and more income, then this is for you. I didn't always feel this way. In fact, prior to 2017, in the networking group that I was in, every few months when it was my turn to speak for more than 4 minutes, I would get blue in the face. The lips would turn blue. I'd get really airy and breathy because I didn't know how to speak. I didn't know how to breathe and speak at the same time. And I thought that was my problem, but actually I hadn't developed the confidence yet to stand up here on the stage and share what I know. And the reality is confidence doesn't come before you take the stage. Confidence comes when you step out onto the stage and you keep doing that. And then the confidence comes. This has been an incredible event so far. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone. And thank you guys for being here. I'm going to take the next 8 hours and share about 40 years of experience with you. Okay. But they haven't given me that much time. I'm going to try to share enough value with you in the next couple of minutes that you can take this and actually put some of it into action. If you would like to grow your business by an additional $10,000 in the next couple months, let me see a hand. Hands out there in chat. What about a few $10,000? $100,000? About $100,000 in a weekend. Yes. All right. Possible from speaking and events. I don't know anything else that's legal that gives us this kind of leverage to share what we know, get influence, make an impact, and get incredible income. Now, we've had a lot of inspirational speakers over this last 2 days. I love inspiration because I believe all things are, guys, you've been saying it for 2 days. All things are possible. What I'm going to talk about, though, is let's make some of it probable. Speaking and the stage allows you to impact people and allows you to invite those in front of you to raise their hand and say, I want to continue the conversation. You see, when I first started my business, I went to networking events and I built a multiple six-figure business getting referrals. I enjoyed when the phone rang and I got perfectly set up. Thank you guys, my two speakers in front of me. Bobby and Jennifer did a great job, but I never knew when the phone was going to ring. So I'd be sitting there in my office and it rang frequently enough that I did well, but I didn't have the confidence to bring on that next team member, buy a piece of equipment, do some additional marketing. It wasn't until I realized I have clients who are making it happen predictably by stepping on the stage and saying, here's the value that I have for you. And people would raise their hands and be like, I want to continue the conversation with you. I'd like to do business with you. And I, might have been born at night, but it was not last night. And I realized I need to take the stage. So in 2017, I got speaking coaching, started taking the stage. We took our business from personal events to the nonprofits, to the corporate, to the events with municipalities that we've done, and poured everything into speaking and entrepreneurial events. Because I realized this really is everything. It has the engagement of a personal event. It frequently has the cause and the connection of a nonprofit or looking to make an impact. But there is a lot of money that can be made from the stage. So whether you're a 4-figure business owner and you're just starting out, maybe you've reached that first 5 figures, you're knocking on the door of 6 figures, you're multiple 6 figures, or you're becoming one of the only 2% of entrepreneurial businesses that become a 7-figure business, you can do it from the stage. And so I dug in deep to the psychology of these kind of events. How could you make $10,000 at an event? How could you make $100,000? And I had a conversation on the way over to the festival this afternoon. Most of my clients are not the Tony Robbins of the world. Most of my clients, it's their first event. It's their first successful event. And they're making 6 figures and multiple 6 figures by deciding who they want to serve and getting crystal clear. Clarity is critical when you take the stage. If you're speaking and you're not speaking to your ideal audience, it's not really speaking, that's talking. Talk is cheap. Speaking is a strategy. It's getting in front of those that you're meant to serve, knowing how you're going to serve them, being clear and speaking in front of the audiences that have your ideal clients in them, making them an offer to connect with you, whether it's a direct offer from the stage, like pull out your credit card, run to the back of the room, or it's let's just continue the conversation. You want to be clear. You want to know what the challenge is of your right fit client so that when you make that offer, the right people say, that's me. I want to continue the conversation with you. And then when you make that stage your own stage, where you can serve your audience and invite those that you're meant to serve into your own environment, welcome them, treat them well. Have you all been treated well by Michael Faber and everyone else? He invited you into his world. So when he made an invitation to you earlier to join his mastermind and be part of this community, he knows that that's something that would attract all of you. So he was able to make that invitation from the stage, knowing that some of you would go, he's talking to me. Right there in front of everyone else, he's talking to me. And so it's time for me to join this network. It's time for me to join this family. When it's your own stage, you have the opportunity to do that. From the stage is the only place that I've ever seen, again, that's legal, where you can make multiple 6 figures from the stage in an hour and from a weekend. So I want to share with you the 6 steps to a 6-figure event. Now I'm going to go through these super fast. You might want to write these down. Because what I found is that most people, when they go to plan their own event, they don't do things in this order. The first, from every stage, including your own, the end in mind. Why are you gathering them? What are you hoping to get out of the event? Who should be in the audience? Can you clearly see them in your mind's eye? Sometimes I even have clients do a vision board around their event so that they can clearly see what that event should be about, what it looks like, what it feels like. Today, we have decisions like, should it be in person? Should it be virtual? If it's in person, is this a Red Roof Inn experience or a Ritz-Carlton experience? Very, very different when you go to ask for the sale. What are you looking to get out of the event? Who should your other speakers or contributors be? Second, it must make dollars and cents. If your event does not make sense on paper, it will never make sense in reality. And it is far easier to make decisions with the end of a pencil called the eraser than it is once you've signed contracts. So it must make dollars and cents. We go through a thorough budget with our clients. Look at the expenses. What is it going to cost to produce this event? Then what are the revenue possibilities? There are 13 different ways that you might make revenue from an event. Not every event, but most events limit themselves to how they're making revenue and leave money on the table. Next, the ticket map. When you've done your budget, you've determined how many people you envision seeing in your room. Well, how are you going to get in front of those people to invite them to your event? 17 different ways that you might fill your event, from paid, organic, and other ways of filling your event. Most people will limit it to one or two ways. Again, leaving opportunity on the table, and they don't track. Well, I'm going to do some speaking. Might do a couple of ads. I'm going to have a couple of affiliates mail for me. But no tracking, no planning. It's very hard to do more of what's working and less of what's not if you don't know what it is that you're looking for to begin with. So it must make dollars and cents. 3, logical logistics. Once you have a budget that works and a plan, now go out and put that into practice. Sign contracts, get your vendors, get your speakers, set everything up. 4, marketing, not mayhem. We already have a plan. We're not throwing spaghetti up against the wall to see what sticks. We have a plan, and a plan we can track so that we can put the right people in the audience, the right number of people in the audience, and get the results that we're looking for. Number 5, execute with excellence. You cannot run your event from the stage. You have to have a team. That team could be volunteers. They could be paid team. They could be friends and family. But don't try to run the event from the stage. This is not where you want to do it yourself and do it all yourself. Because you could be helping somebody with a registration, with cream for their coffee, and you're not on the stage serving everyone else. Execute it with excellence by having the right strategy, the right team, by putting your content in a way that invites your audience through a journey of getting to know you. 6, don't brief the debrief. Every event that we do is typically meant to be repeated. Because if you do something well, you're going to do it again. So while things are fresh, we always like to look at, what do we want to do again? What do we want to do over? And what do we want to do never? Because some things, sometimes they sound a little better on paper. Sometimes we realize we need a little bit more time or space, or we want to do things a little bit differently. So don't brief that debrief. Make sure that you give time to take a look at it. And that way, every event can be your best event and your worst event, meaning you've brought the best of you to the table, and there's always room for improvement. Hosting your own event can be one of the scariest things, but it can also be one of the most profitable. With a high ticket offer, typically something $8,000 to $10,000 or more, your premium way of serving your ideal audience, $100,000 in a weekend is not only possible, but probable. In fact, to date, 94% of our clients do the same. And again, these are not big companies. These are speakers, consultants, coaches, healers who are doing this for the first time or the first time predictably to grow their business. Hosting your own event and then speaking, I think are the two things that if you're not developing these skills, you're really going to find yourself at a loss as we move into 2025 and beyond. We only have so much time. I'm not one that believes in limitations. I'm not one that believes in holding ourselves back. But the one limitation that we all have is there's only 24 hours in the day. And I don't really want to work all of them. Anyone in the room want to work all 24 of the available hours? Speaking and events is the way to leverage your time, leverage your knowledge in order to grow in influence, grow in impact, and grow in income. Just a couple other things that I want to share with you all today. We've had a lot of heartfelt messages. Sometimes your impact is not where you're meant to make income. And this might step on a toe or two. So hopefully you guys have some boots on. Pull the toes back. My impact is with women who are in transitional housing, making a change in their life, because that was me 24 years ago. I'm not going to look for those women to pay me. I'm not going to look for the houses that serve them at that critical point in their life to pay me. But I have found what I'm really good at, where I can make an impact, where I can lift up speakers and I can lift up event hosts. And through that, we can impact the world. And then I donate a lot of money to help those that I have a heart for. Sometimes I meet entrepreneurs who are trying to make their income where their impact is. And so if you're struggling because you're leading with your heart, but not making the income, sometimes some separation there can be a good thing. Go where the money is, where you still feel heart. I'm not talking about being heartless, but again, probability. Because when you do well, you can do good. I can write bigger checks because I do well. I can have more impact because I can lift up more speakers and coaches and consultants. Because there's someone who was staring at the ceiling at 3:00 this morning with more month than money, not happy with who's laying in bed beside them, not happy with who they see in the mirror, worried about the economy, worried about their job, worried about their health, and you guys have answers for them. And it was already mentioned earlier today, Jay Abraham says that if you have a way to help others, you have a moral obligation to help them. Make money. Money will allow you to help more. So don't be afraid to go for the sales, to have big goals when it comes to money. And then you can lead and serve to your heart's desire. Now, again, they didn't give me 8 hours. As you can imagine, I could talk for quite a bit longer. But we have an event coming up in just a couple of weeks. So I'll pass these out. It's called the Visibility Event. And I love giving gifts. So, of course, you're all invited to the event with my compliments. And for 3 days, we're going to be talking about visibility. What's happening in 2025? What are tips? What are trends? How is AI impacting you and your business? How can you use it? Use it legally, use it ethically, and without giving away your IP. Do you know how dangerous it is to write your next talk using ChatGPT? Do you know that your information is out there on the internet for others to get? It's okay, but you need to know how to work with an AI world. It's not going anywhere. AI is great for brainstorming. AI is great for organizing your thoughts. AI is not so great for copying and pasting. You are going to have to be you. Authentic, real, have a point of view. Know exactly who you want to serve. And it is not everyone. When you look to serve everyone, you will ultimately serve no one. Be super clear in who you're meant to serve, because the majority of us in this room are 5 to 15 clients away from drastically changing our bank account. So speak to those 5 to 15. You don't need to speak to the world. I also have a couple of other gifts. These are for those in the room. And first 4 people, coach, creating outcomes, and visibility. I really appreciated that. When I saw Clint with those muscles and thighs coming at me, I was a little bit nervous. Like, this is a very expensive wall. I wasn't sure how much room I had to back up. I've appreciated sharing this. I've appreciated sharing this time with you guys today.